Okay, so let's continue with another history.
Yeah. So another final table here.
Yeah, so we are going to look just through final tables now to focus on some late game situations.
Yeah.
So yeah, any suited ace I would be shoving here, and any pockets and so on.
If it was queen nine suited, it would be close, I think.
Well, it would be definitely exploitative open that in kind of balanced ranges, or
Yeah.
like FGS ranges, it shouldn't be it here, but if villains are tight enough, it can be okay. But usually I wouldn't open hand like that.
Okay. So I don't think you have enough fold equity here.
Yeah, I don't think you have. Well, you can have some fold equity, but it's most likely less than 20% or something like that.
Yeah.
So A7 I would have been open raising.
Yeah.
And what to call here?
So I would say maybe ace ten off. Ace ten off or ace jack off.
Yeah, I don't think ace-10 off is going to be like in Nash ranges, maybe not even ace-jack, but the point is that when this racky looking guy shoves here, his range is definitely capped. So I would be quite surprised if he shows up with stuff like ace-king or pickpocket.
Yeah.
It's more often some sort of queen-queen, basically suited Broadway stuff. And some small to medium pocket pairs, I would say. And because of that, it might be okay to even call with something like ace-10. It could still be quite too wide with ace-10 off because of the ICM side.
Yeah. So can check it here. So ace jack off is not in Nash.
And most of the time, I don't really believe anyone is shoving that much of those crappy hands either.
Maybe something like this.
Yeah, maybe taking away like ace-queen suited as well.
Yeah.
I think something like that would be something you see quite often, possibly.
Should be pretty similar
Okay.
range.
So would have been too wide call.
Yeah. Ace jack off would be fairly big mistake.
Yeah.
And even ace queen off is break even.
ICM is quite heavy here.
Yeah.
In here I don't mind open raising this because players seem so tight, and if the small blind calls it's not that horrible with Jack 10 from position.
Yeah.
So So yeah, if there was no flat earth, then you should be calling that shove.
Yeah.
But of course, when the button comes along, it's best to be folding.
Pretty easy shot there.
Yeah, shove against anyone.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I would say min raise at this stack depth.
I think min raising is close to always in reality the best option.
Yeah.
In theory, shoving is also good, I would say, but I think min raising is basically always better.
Yeah.
Because you kind of want someone to call as well with king queen, especially from the blinds.
Yeah.
Or you don't mind that situation at all. Of course, when they shove, it's kind of ugly to be folding hand like this, but with this sort of stacks, it's still pretty easy to do.
Yeah. So, would you shove anything there?
I don't think you should be shoving much at all. Maybe some pocket pairs can be okay, but nothing else really.
Yeah.
And I think like smallest pocket pairs are not going to be profitable this deep. But then if you have something like some middle pockets, they might be too weak to be inducing, and if you have aggressive players, then it might make most sense to be shoving.
Okay.
But something like Jacks Plus, I think you should be min raise inducing already.
Yeah.
Maybe tens. And Queen 7.
Yeah, I would min raise when it looks
Yeah,
like a tight play.
raise is most likely. Of course, you don't have much of sample. Basically, if remembering what kind of player he had been before, if he has been like call-happy player, then I would tend to be limping here. If he's just too tight, then you can be min raising. If he would have been really aggressive, then I think limping or open folding would be the best play. I don't really want to be shoving hand like this.
Okay.
And he calls.
I don't think he's going to have ace ever, but
Quite rarely.
still it's not that great of a board.
Yeah, it's one of those boards that he can connect quite easily to that, and it gets into questionable situation that can we get him to fold something like 10-8 or some jack 10 by betting multiple streets, because in general this would be like okay spot to go for multiple barrels because of the fact that the villain doesn't really have those AXs most often, and you have quite a lot of those. But that sort of thinking against recreational players is kind of tricky, because they can be playing some hands surprisingly passive more often than regulars, and they might not give up of any drawing hands and so on. But I think as default still I would probably like c-betting here more than just check folding.
Okay.
Because it's still a high board. And if he's defending wide, then he's going to have enough hands to be just folding.
Yeah. So, sizing would you...
Something like 800 at maximum, 700, 800. Probably something like that.
Okay.
Interesting turn card.
Yeah, I would be betting this. There's a lot of draws you can have.
Yes, it's actually quite tough for him to have that many. Well, from the straight draws, he's mostly having gut shots because any sort of king 10, 9, 10 type of hands have the straight already.
Oh yeah.
So it can be somewhat thin to value bet, but I don't think it's mistake. But it's then the question that if the river is total blank, are we betting again or checking? And if he's betting, then what are we doing? So actually I don't really mind to just check here because I think going for two street value might be pretty thin.
Yeah.
And he does call, and I don't. Well, we can perhaps get him to fold some two pair combinations. I don't think he ever folds 9. And he might not fold those two pairs as either, so might be best to just check fold here.
Yeah. But one of the worst turns, I guess.
Yeah, pocket 8 in this spot is best to be shoving.
Yeah.
Not quite strong enough to induce really, and getting flatted can be quite tricky.
Yeah.
Instant shooter is actually quite interesting here.
He seems pretty loose, but
Yeah.
still not sure if it's a good call or not.
Again, kind of situation that I would assume will lane range to be capped, and there's no clear short stack. So personally, I would probably call here with the indication that he's could be a loose player overall.
Yeah. Didn't mean to see his cards, but let's check this one too.
Haven't used that poker tracker replayer really, so.
Yeah.
And as we saw here, that if he's shoving all the premium stuff as well, then we should be really folding, but I think we can take quite often those like pocket tens plus, ace queen plus away.
Yeah.
And I think aggressive player like that can quite easily have those, maybe even, well, at least those jack ten shooter type of. And I think so it's still a bit outside.
Yeah.
So again, situation where I would be a bit too wide, most likely.
Yeah, okay.
But I think there's still like ace jack call here is definitely going to be good.
Yeah.
Because it's really surprising to see those premium hands from the villain when he shoves here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Queen Jack is going to be a bit too weak to be calling.
Yeah.
Of course, we are the shorter stack clearly now, so ICM is going to be a bit lower.
Mm.
So I think like King Queen, we should definitely be calling here.
Yeah. Would this be a call if we would be shoving any two?
What?
If you would be shoving any two here, do you think you could call?
Yeah, I think at that point it might be, but I don't really expect. Usually in that sort of situation, when you are clearly the shorter stack, that lanes would be shoving absolute crap.
Yeah. So Nash range is 76 and Queen Jack is a bit too weak.
Yeah. But again, I think 76% could be something that doesn't usually happen.
Yeah.
Because when you think that it's still pretty deep stack overall and you are the shortest stack, so I think he would be closer of something like 50% than 70 or 80%.
Okay.
But again, he doesn't most likely have the most premium hands.
Yeah.
And Queen 9, something you should definitely play, and I would prefer limping or min raising. Limping would actually be quite a decent option here.
Yeah.
Won't give him as profitable re-steal shove spot, and it's still really playable hand overall.
Yeah.
Something like Queen 9 suited, for example, would be totally fine to be shoving, or even this is okay to be shoving if we expect that we might be playing by shoving himself decent amounts.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be clear fold.
Yeah. Easy shove. Yeah. Any King X will be good enough.
Yeah.
Basically any queen, suited queen. Some of the weakest offsuit queens might be best to not shove at least.
Yeah.
So in here, if he shoves, we should be calling.
Yeah.
I mean, if the stacks are even with the bottom, then I think folding might be better, but I think in here we should be calling. You can check it.
Yeah. I think it's called too.
Yeah, he has been really aggressive, so it could be reasonable to think that he can be close to any two, if not any two.
Yeah.
So I guess any two, it's well marginal, but yeah. Well, it's not mistake to go either way against this guy, I would say.
Yeah.
But if the stacks are more even with the bottom, then it's clear mistake to be calling.
Yeah.
And one of the problems in this situation is that if the ship leader is really aggressive, he's going to be shoving all the time, so basically when you are in small blind, he has good spot to be shoving, because when you fold, the middle stack is going to be folding huge amount most of the time, and even you are folding good amount of time. So because of that fact, then you, I think, should be taking more thin calling lines earlier and just try to make a stand.
Okay.
And I think queen 9 is, I would probably shove here, because otherwise you will be trying, or you don't, no, not shoving, but make like non-all in play. It's pretty perfect in this spot.
Yeah. So I would fold here if both of players go all in.
Yeah, but I would use a bit smaller sizing in general.
Yeah.
I think it can be, or in my opinion, it can be better to be using more than min raise, but I think something like 2000 is maximum you should be using, pretty much.
Okay.
Just to leave a bit more if the situation comes that you are folding.
Yeah.
Because I think the 2000 will, or a bit less than that, will have the same effect anyway.
Yeah.
But the min raising is kind of problematic in my opinion, because PP can then call some hands and so on. So Ace King is actually kind of interesting. That would it be strong enough to induce here by min raising?
I think it might be.
Yeah, I think it's probably quite close overall.
Could
Because
check that.
you are now in quite clear second stack position.
If he's showing such a big range, we can call.
Yeah. Well, actually, you shouldn't be using just the min raising option. You should have the shoving option and min raising option both.
Yeah.
So now we can compare it. Oh yeah, it's pretty much on the borderline, with the assumption that he does shove 30% or close to it. Of course, what this doesn't count is that PP especially can be flatting as well.
Yeah.
And in general, with the ace king type of hand, it's going to be okay for you from position. So I would say from this analysis that overall it's going to be a bit better to min raise than shove, but shoving is totally fine as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just
basically a situation where I think we should be shoving pretty much every, or almost all the suited aces. Probably not the weakest of offsuit aces, pocket pairs. Of course, biggest ones can be min raised, like 10s plus or so.
Yeah.
And also a lot of Broadway stuff we can be shoving, because we can inflict so much ICM pressure on this chip leader as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, when he shove, we can't do anything. For example, this hand is pretty clear shoving spot.
Yeah.
As long as the PP doesn't make stupid calls.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that probably we shouldn't have much of min-raise folding hands.
Yeah, I don't like... If you want to play this hand otherwise, I think limping would be the best option from shoving.
Yeah.
Then we are of course every time calling small blind shove.
Yeah.
But if we min raise here, it's just basically offering our chips on the silver plate. Of course, good player would become thinking that you have pretty polarized range if you do min raise, or maybe even really trap heavy range.
Yeah.
If you min raise here, because you shouldn't really be raise folding against small blind. And hence you can like sensibly raise call against small blind. You should probably be shoving good amount already, so it could also work to min raise, but I don't think breaks in these games are necessarily thinking that far.
Yeah.
And this is same sort of hand that I think we can be shoving.
Yeah.
With suited king offsuit, I would be just snap folding every time.
Yeah, I did fold actually.
Would be interesting to check.
Yeah.
Because again, I would say that PP should be pretty tight. And even small blind can still be, well, it's pretty borderline with the... So basically, I don't mind folding at all.
Yeah, okay.
Basically, these sort of situations that we are taking high risk for small is expected reward.
Yeah.
It's usually better to be on a bit of the tighter side.
Yeah, it does get better if small blind and big blind doesn't collide as much.
Yeah, of course, if they don't collide much, then it gets better to be shoving wider.
Yeah.
And now into heads up.
Yeah. Seems like I've played this guy before in heads up.
Yeah, shoving would be too loose, so I still usually want to try and play this hand, so min raising or limping would be both fine options.
I have some sample size on him already from heads up. So might be better to limp if he has not been folding a lot.
Yeah, the main benefit from the limping is also that we don't give him the resteal spot.
Yeah.
And this is actually, well, what do you play? How do you play here?
Yeah, he's never going to have an ace, so I would c-bet and call.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like c-bet calling as well.
Yeah.
Only ace he's likely to have is like pocket aces.
Yeah.
Yeah, smallish sizing is totally fine.
Yeah.
And I think against this guy we should be pretty close with the Nash calling range chart when he shoves.
Yeah.
And Jack 9 suited, well, how do you play it?
Good limp or open shove, I think.
Yeah, those are oddly sensible options. You should never be min raising.
Yeah.
And I think both of those are. And if I think that villain is aggressive against limps, then I would definitely shove always. And I think against this player, shoving is most likely best option.
Yeah.
It's just going to feel horrible to fold that sort of hand if he shoves against limp.
Yeah.
Yeah, folding 5 deuce against him is good. King 3 is something that if he min raises, you can think of free still shoving.
Yeah. Small ace I would open shove.
Yeah, that's the best play.
And we split.
And queen 9 pretty much same as the jack 9 suited earlier, that limping or shoving.
Yeah.
And I think when he shoves, you have to be folding.
Yeah.
I don't think hand is... If you are limping like queen jack off, for example, then I would still be calling, but I think queen 9 off in general is going to be too weak.
Yeah. This is a bit too weak, I think.
Yeah, well, it's again a situation that I would assume that the villain would play the premium hand a bit different. So suited king would be something that I would consider calling here. For example, if you take from the Hold'em resources chart, it would be up to 10.7 pp, and if we can think that he doesn't have the premium hand and he's still aggressive, I think this would be a reasonable call, but it's going to be pretty marginal. So it's not like mandatory call, but if you have a bit better suited king, then definitely calling.
Yeah. Yeah, it's king 4 suited in.
Yeah. And in general, I would in heads up discount a lot more of those big aces.
Yeah.
From good player, I would also discount a lot of like king queen suited, like good Broadway hands, because those should be hands that he should be min raise calling or limp calling.
Yeah.
Because if you think like king queen off, for example, that it plays really great post flop, then like shoving it and forcing opponent to fold as much as possible is going to be pretty bad idea overall.
Yeah, it's true. Could be okay.
Yeah. King deuce off, I would be almost always folding in that spot.
Yeah.
Suited is fine.
Yeah.
And in general, when we are against aggressive guy like this, we often want to take those marginal spots because he's not giving us easy time.
Yeah. I think he's going to play back too much, so.
Yeah, I think folding is fine.
Yeah. Easy call.
This might be something to limp. It still has pretty good playability, but can be shoved profitably. And especially if the villain has not been attacking limps that much, then it's really good spot to be limping.
Yeah, I would say limping. also.
And yeah, pretty standard spot to be betting, because
Yeah.
he's unlikely to have. I would say that he would probably shove any ace pretty much, most of the king X as well, so if he has something here, it's more often some not the greatest of jacks or some weak queen, I would say.
Yeah.
We have huge amount of fold equity, in my opinion. Well, he calls, so he often has something.
Yeah. I think we can.
I think in general, if we want to continue here, I would go for 3 barrels, and because I would have usually decent amount of like king X, for example, in my limping range that I'm limp calling.
Yeah.
But it's questionable. He might not be folding queen high here, so.
I bet really
This is
small.
kind of, if you're not planning to bet pretty big on the river, I don't really like this.
Okay.
Because he has something, so he's not most likely folding to that.
Yeah.
And now he shoves, so I would assume that he has that queen really often, or it's pretty weird play, because it might be for river that you could try to bluff as well, so.
Yeah.
But quite well, maybe he turns like weak jack into bluff or something, but just quite tough to see total air, check calling twice, and
Yeah.
of course one option is also like pickpocket. He has been slow playing or something. And yeah, this is also something you can limp.
Yeah. That's especially when he has been so aggressive.
Yeah.
So,
Calling any two, definitely.
yeah.
And winning that one.
Yeah.
So we have now, I think, over 1.5 hours, so
Yeah. I think.
yeah, I think it's time to end this session.
Yeah.
But I think there was quite a few interesting situations.
Yeah, there were some good points.
Yeah.
So thank you for the coaching and thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for you as well. And for all the watchers and Danitah as well. So if you're playing, have good sessions, and if sleeping, happy dreams then. Bye.